Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to NBA Jump Ball, and welcome to the Long Range Bomber, Tracy Murray. We're going to discuss the NBA Finals. We're
Hey
going to
man,
discuss.
hold up, time out, time out. I can't see you, man. Where you
You know
at?
why?
You gotta
You know
put
why,
your ugly
Tracy?
mug on the picture. You gotta be seen.
No, wait, hold on. Here, hold on. I'll be very, very straightforward, and you're a good, close, like family friend. So I'm going to tell you, Norm Rumack, me and Norm Rumack were in a golf tournament where the MCs and everything. I'm here, but Norm Rumack's pants ripped out, so I cannot have Norm Rumack beside me with his. It looks like a Homer Simpson underwear. All right, it looks like Homer Simpson, and I don't want to show the world the
Well, you can
broadcasting.
send him on his way, but what
No, but
happened to
I'm
you?
here.
How
He's
come you
he's
can't be
not.
there?
I gotta Tracy. You should know this. Not only do I have to pick up the guy, I have to drop him off. I have to go get Tim Hortons. Not a cup of tea. He wants a large tea and no ice cap. I want ice cap. There was no ice cap. He wants a
No,
large tea. We had
I,
to wait
I
20
I
minutes.
think I know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. You and Norm invaded that golf tournament. Somebody got mad at you and hit you
No,
with a
no.
golf club, and you don't want to be on camera. I think that's what it is.
No. It's my good personal friend Tracy L. Murray. It's his golf tournament, and not to be not to be confused with Tracy the Long Range Bomber Murray, L.R. Murray, Tracy L.R. Murray. It's Tracy L. Murray golf. Anyways, let's talk about this. We'll first talk about Masai Ujiri. Is this a surprise? In case you haven't heard, Masai
I
Ujiri is
haven't.
gone. He's gone from
Wow.
the Raptors.
He left, huh?
No, they say they forced him out. He resigned, but basically he got fired. Why? And I'm going to tell you, Rogers now owns everything, not Bell, everything. Rogers took away Brendan Shanahan. He was president and all that. He's gone. Mike Pinball Clemens from the Argos is the GM, but he was the president. He's no longer the president. TFC had a president. They don't have a president. And
Wait,
now
time out. What's going on with pinball?
he's the general manager and the president, but no, they took away the
General
president.
manager and president of the Argos?
Yes, of the
Okay.
Argos,
All right.
but they took away the presidency from Pinball. He's just the general manager. The
Wow.
TFC had a president. They don't have a president no more. All right. Brendan Shanahan was the president, and he's no longer the president. They kicked him out.
Time out. So Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is no longer in charge, or is it Rogers?
No,
What's
it's
going on?
Rogers, Edward Rogers is in charge of everything. Of Maple Leafs, Raptors, Marlies, Argos, everything you could imagine. Only one, and then it's never happened in sports. And Rogers, by the way, owns the Blue Jays too.
So Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment are no longer in charge. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it is Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, but now it's owned strictly by Rogers. Let's see if
there's your mom right there. You look like you're ready to headbutt somebody.
Yeah, well, maybe if you continue with this questioning, I feel like I'm O.J. Simpson here on the trial, man.
Where's my easy.
By the way, my hair looks great. If you could, I don't know if you could see this. I'm wearing a Canada. Look at my golf shirt, Canada, because it's Canada Day. I should have asked you, Canada Day. You're semi-Canadian. I'm the president of the province of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, soon to run for the mayor of Mozambique. I can't spell it, but I can run for it. Now, look. What is your favorite Canada Day memory, and what are you doing for the United States of America or of Mexico Day, July 4th?
Well, Canada Day, I'm on with you for Canada Day. There we go. Now you know what I'm doing during Canada Day.
So you're the guy.
I'm celebrating with you. I'm celebrating with you. Yes.
All right. So at the now, because you're celebrating, what we do traditionally on Canada Day, and you know this, Norm, at the end of the show, sings "Oh Canada." So you're going to take Norm's spot because I think his... Norm, did you pee in yourself or what? Why do I feel... Norm, man. Come on. You know, the guy's a little 70 years old. He's a little, never mind. All right. So, yes, in a roundabout circle, Masai Ujiri is out from the Raptors. Are you shocked at that? And what does that mean for the Raptors?
Well, you were telling me, rumblings of possibly about it a few weeks ago, and I wasn't sure, about the rumor because I hadn't heard anything. But I think anybody that takes that job, I'm surprised because he brought the only championship in history, and he formulated that roster. So I am really surprised. But this is an era of what have you done for me lately? And sometimes people premature fire people because of people wanting more. People have to understand it is hard to get talent in Toronto because of the taxes and that type of deal. So I think there should be extra patience with people like coaches or general managers, because of the situation. It's not their fault. Their hands are tied a lot. So I'm really surprised. I think that he's done a lot for the Raptors. Shout out to Masai, bringing that championship. I've been knowing Masai for years. He's a solid dude. I know he'll land on his feet somewhere because he's a champion.
Do you think he'll land in New York? That's you go away from the Raptors and this Canadian team, and New York. They fired the coach. They were in the Eastern Conference Final, and Indiana, Halliburton gone probably for the year. Boston, Tatum gone for the year. Milwaukee with Lillard.
But Masai is not a coach, so I don't see him going to New York. And New York has a good roster that the GM put together over there. They just have to win. So they're one or two pieces, away from being an impact. This might be their window to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, so let's get back to the NBA Finals, and it's Canada Day. So how apropos is this? The MVP, did he win the All-Star Game MVP? Never mind. Anyways, he won the MVP. He won the MVP of the NBA Finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I got news for you. They got 75 draft picks in the next 10 years. They're going to not one. I'll take a line from your good friend, LBJ. They're not going to win one. They're not going to win two. They're not going to win three. I think in 10 years, they'll probably win four. What do you say?
Their window is wide open right now to repeat and three-peat. This is their window. I think the key thing moving forward is this is a long season. They kind of burned themselves out last year, and they had a lack of experience. With that experience last year, they gained how to win. I think moving forward, you can't continue to have the best record in the West and go through the finals like they did, because you might burn out at some point, especially from this long season. They have to find a way to pace themselves this year. Maybe be second or third in the West instead of being first in the West with the best record in the league and, trying to get through the playoffs too, especially after this long year. They have a short period to rest, a short period to recover, because the season will be here before you know it. So I think there has to be some type of management, player management. As much as I hate load management, I'm not saying load manage. I'm just saying pace yourself.
All right. So, and congratulations to Shai and everybody from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Shout out to Shai. He was big time. He played his behind off all year. He was the clear-cut MVP in everything, in my opinion, and he deserved everything. The way he put in the work, the way he made everybody on his team better. They had the perfect plan defensively and offensively to win this year. So shout out to Shea being the leader of that team and the MVP of the season.
And we're going to shout out also another guy who unfortunately took it to Game 7 in the second quarter, collapsing because he had a tremendous year and a tremendous postseason, and that's Halliburton. And, you know, the one who's more mad at anything that Halliburton is injured. And I'm being very, very serious here. Very serious. Of course, it's him. Of course, it's Indiana. But it's Triple H. Halliburton had a match ready at SummerSlam. And
I know.
Emotions. Oh, you know, I broke the story to you. You don't even give me credit. Go ahead.
No, you saw Triple H at the game. You know, Triple H was giving him love after one of the games. You saw him at a lot of series, a couple of games, to be honest with you. He was there. You know, he was supporting him. They were ready to set up SummerSlam, and that unfortunate situation happened. And when you have a calf injury, Kevin Durant did it in the finals a few years back. You cannot get back out there and think you're going to go. You know, I don't know if they shot him up. I don't know what they gave him to make him feel good. His calf was not ready, and then his Achilles ended up blowing. So I think people who are managing these players have to do a better job. The medical staff have to do a better job of knowing that he should not be out there. And I know you can't stop a player. You know, he wants to participate in the final game, but you have to sometimes save the players from themselves. You know, and he's a go-getter. He wants to play, so you pretty much have to save him from himself.
All right. You know, we had the NBA Finals with Indiana, Oklahoma, and that was a great finals. By the way, a lot of people in Indiana not.
No, it was a great finals. I don't care what they say about small market. It was both teams were the best teams in their conferences, so they can miss me with this big market thing. These were two really, really good teams. It was a great finals. It went Game 7. You know, if Halliburton didn't go down, the game would have been tighter. Might have been a different result. You never know. And so I thought it was an excellent final. So shout out to both teams.
All right, so now let's get to the draft there. And you've seen a lot of college basketball. You're the color commentating for UCLA Bruins. Now let's get to the Raptors pick. The Raptors pick 9. All right, pick 9, and you could see him on the TV, shaking his head and saying "F," like he did not want to be drafted by the Raptors. Then you hear a story of Danny Ainge played with a guy from the Utah Jazz, and then he selected him, or I think it was Cleveland or somebody else. He selected him one pick before, and like his plans went through awry and all that. And let's get back to the Raptors pick. What do you think of the Raptors picks? And considering that they fired Masai Ujiri the day after the draft, what do you think that is?
Well, you're gonna have. I didn't really watch the draft. I had my daughter had practices and games and stuff. So, refresh me who the Raptors picks were.
Well, the Raptors. Now you're gonna make me do my homework here. See?
You're the host. You're supposed to be. You're the host. You're supposed to have your homework done.
I always have my homework here, but I'm at a golf. A golf facility. So
why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering?
I'm not stuttering. I'm just watching. The Wyatt 6 here.
Well, you're the Jolton Joe 6. Now let's get to the.
What do you mean Jolton Joe 6? I should have known this because it's. I think it's related to you here. The first round pick. It's Murray there. All right. So hold on. I'm gonna. Well, he has 3 names. Basically, he has 3 names.
And where's he from?
You're asking too many questions. Relax. I got a bad internet here. I don't even have my face on there. So hold on. Publicize your thing. How do you get a hold of you and everything like that? Come on.
So am I going to have to do your homework for you? I have to
Well,
go
I'll
on
do
and
the homework. I'll do the homework. You just publicize your thing. And Norm peed on me and everything like that. I'm having a horrible day.
Here you go.
Hold on. I'm getting it.
Okay, the Raptors got Colin Murray. What? Hold on.
See, I just told you it's Murray. See,
Colin Murray Boyles. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Colin Murray Boyles, and then
Elijah Martin.
Yeah,
Elijah Martin. I don't know these guys, so I can't really tell you about the picks. I really don't know those guys. There's a lot of people in this draft I did not know, other than Cooper Flagg and a couple of others that Harper, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. Other than those three, I didn't really know about everybody else. It was one of those. One pick I knew very, very well. A prodigy kid. Shout out to Jemai Meshack. Jemai Meshack from Tennessee. He was the last pick of the draft. He's one of our kids from our program. Much love to Jemai. He went to the Memphis Grizzlies, and I thought that was the perfect place for him because he played at Tennessee. They got to see him develop over the last 4 years. So shout out to Jemai Meshack. That's one of our kids. I'm really excited and happy for that youngster. But other than that, those other three guys are the only ones I've really seen. I saw the Michigan kid that was, crying when he got drafted. His whole family was crying, but I understood his frustration because he thought he was going to be drafted higher. And I went through that where I thought I was going to be drafted higher, but instead of crying on camera, I just went and took me a walk, man. I was stressed out. And then my brother told me to come back to the door that my name was called, and that's how my draft happened. But what he's got to do is take notes of all the people that lied to him and said they were going to take him and make them pay. Make them pay when you play them. Starting with the summer league, start making people pay right away.
Yeah. So just reading more on. So he's not your cousin.
No.
Colin Murray Boyles.
Don't know the kid.
South Carolina, 6'7" forward.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know you didn't watch it, when Silver announced, the 9th pick, the Raptors, he was shaking his head and said the F word.
Well, this is my thing with the draft. Even though I was disappointed with where I was drafted as well, I was drafted by a great organization that didn't keep me. I wish I was with that organization. This is the thing. It's an honor to get drafted. There are a lot of spoiled ass kids nowadays, and they don't control the narrative. They're so used to controlling their narrative or running away from a situation. You can't run anymore.
Yeah.
You can't run anymore. You have to, if this is your dream, that's your team, make it happen. And that's what the NBA draft is. That's what it is. They're so used to running away from, I'm going to transfer after 1 year, or I'm not going to stay at this high school. I'm going to transfer to 4 different schools. You can't do that here. This is the NBA draft. Be thankful for where you're drafted. Make it happen from this point. Because if you don't make it happen, you're out in 2 or 3 years. Now what's your dream? Your dream becomes a nightmare. So suck it up and enjoy the team that you're with.
That's right. That's spoken by, 10, 12-year veteran, right?
12 years. And I wasn't always happy, but I didn't let people know I wasn't happy. You can't be, the camera's on you and you're just, everybody knows your emotions. It can't be, the team that drafts you and you don't want to go there and you can't show no outward frustration. And people can read lips. You can't say those words and be disappointed with your pick. You got picked. You could have been a free agent and not been drafted. You could have been drafted in the 2nd round on a 2-way contract. But now you're a lottery pick and you're about to get paid millions and you're sitting up here complaining. I don't like that. These kids got to change their mindset.
All right. So that does it for the 2025 season. Now we're gearing to free agency and trades and people signing billion-dollar deals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to give you a couple names, and you don't have to tell me what you hear in case you didn't hear. But let's talk about a couple weeks ago. We talked about the Greek Freak maybe coming to Toronto, maybe going to New York, maybe going.
Well, that's out now.
Yep.
Masai had his ear, but that's out now. So
do you think he's going to be moved?
Early. He's saying that I don't think he's going to be moved. I just know that, isn't the free agency with him coming up in a couple of years? He's going to decide if he wants to be there or not. And I don't know if they made the necessary moves to make him happy.
Okay. So next year or come September, we have NBC on the NBA, and there's a fight now. And Tracy, in your spare time, I know you teach your daughter and you have other teaching and all that, but can you put some music together, because that was an iconic thing? And I know him, Entertainment Tonight, John Tesh. He tried to interview me 4 times. I said I was busy playing golf and non peeing on me and everything like that. But is NBC coming back? And what if they don't have that iconic song there? Because I remember Ahmad Rashad and Shaquille O'Neal was back at like 212 pounds instead of 412 pounds and all that. But is this a good thing? Because TNT, and I'm saying this to you because we're here in Canada, TNT is a staple for 25 years of NBA action after the, NBC lost them. Now, TNT getting out of the NBA, going to Major League Baseball, and actually TNT having AEW every Wednesday, Saturday. We're not talking AEW. But is this a good thing that NBC and TNT just going away?
Well, I don't know. It remains to be seen. NBC had a lot of success back when we played, back in the Jordan era. That signature song, will it be part of it? I don't know. It's something that remains to be seen. Are they going to have different shows? Remember NBA Inside Stuff? That was on NBC. Will they bring that back? I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to get creative, and they're going to have to start thinking fast, because if you drag your feet right now, the season will be here. So I'm pretty sure they're preparing for it right now. TNT will be missed. Thank goodness they're keeping the Inside the NBA show, because that show was funny. It was funny. It was entertaining. And shout out to Kenny Smith. I saw him the last couple of days this past weekend. He's watching his kid play. But, you have to let those guys be themselves in order for that show to work. And that's going to be on ESPN. Will ESPN allow them to be themselves? Because they told the line on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Will you allow Chuck to be Chuck? Will you allow Shaq to be Shaq? We know Ernie and Kenny are the professionals when it comes to moderating and breaking down, but you got to let the two entertainers entertain. Yes, they're analysts too, but you got to let them be themselves. If you don't let them be themselves, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that those 4 stuck up for the whole group, because there was a lot of people losing jobs in Atlanta, and they stuck up for the whole group. That group is truly a family, and I'm glad that those 4 said, we're not doing this without our group. And, they kept everybody with jobs. So shout out to those guys keeping the whole show together, even though it's on another network. But that network have to understand, you got to let those guys do them. Let them control them. Let them do it their way. Don't try to come in and regulate, because you're going to mess up the show.
Exactly. So, but it should be interesting to see next year, new year, but new network, the game has changed. Like, let's say for the last 2-3 years, even the Raptors winning in 2019. Now we're heading to 7 years later, 2026, and look how it's changed in 7 years. right? You got Canadians winning the MVP and MVP of the finals, and 7 years ago you would never think of Oklahoma and maybe Seattle coming back and Vegas. 7 years ago nobody wanted to touch Vegas. Now everybody's touching. And WWE has it right. They're doubling down on Vegas.
Yep.
I don't like
Vegas. Vegas is hot right now. Vegas is hot right now. The Oakland A's, I think they're going to move there. Yeah. There's Vegas is hot right now, and it's always been a sports town. They were just afraid of the gambling, but gambling has been part of the game now for the last 7 to 10 years, where you had some of the gambling people sponsoring certain teams or whatever, or a sponsor of the NBA. So it's all a part of it now. The players are not understanding that they shouldn't be gambling. There's a few players in trouble because of it. That's not what you get involved in. That's just a sponsor to help you get more money. So I think the players need to police themselves a little bit better and not get caught up in that. But Vegas is long overdue for an NBA team. Seattle is long overdue for having the Sonics back. Oh, on another note, the great Lenny Wilkens has a statue that just got put up a couple of days ago in Seattle. So shout out to Lenny Wilkens, the former Raptor coach that I played for, NBA great, Hall of Famer, two-time Hall of Famer. He deserves it. He deserves it. He's an all-time great. Shout out to Coach Wilkens.
And I got to give Sam Mitchell, and Lenny Wilkens a shout out. So, Trace, as a number one reporter in Toronto covering the basketball, NBA, what would you say, 98, 99, 2000? I was 3-4 years number one reporter. And we were doing something called the Raptor Wrestling Roundtable. Norm was peeing on himself and everything like that. Why are you laughing? It's not funny.
I think he hit you upside your head with a Kindle.
No. I'm very. The truth is, Trace, I'm very upset. I'm wearing my new golf shoes, $200 pair of golf shoes, and it's full of piss. All right, this golf course. I'm at a golf course, not at the farm. Come on, now. I got to give him a shout out because, you guys, we did the Raptors Wrestling Roundtable. You were focused on the game, but you were focused a little bit on wrestling. Okay. And he knew it. And we had to go in the corner and all that. And Sam Mitchell, if I knew that Sam Mitchell will choke Vince Carter, I would be coming in there and say, Sam Mitchell going against Tracy Marie, and I'm the referee or something like that, all right? But special shout out to Lenny and Sam for allowing us the Raptor Wrestling Roundtable, and I'm going to say it was one of the biggest segments on the Fan 590 because of me, all right? Because of me, then you, then some guy named Barking or whatever, he was barking and all that. We had Jalen Rose, and Vince Carter now, he loves wrestling, but here, I'll give it away, Trace. I'll give it away. And I told you this before. I got a note from the assistant there of the Raptors saying Vince likes a couple tickets for wrestling and all that. I go, wait a minute. What if I'm going to give tickets? I'm going to give it to Tracy Murray. Vince Carter, does he even know my name? All right. Does he even know my name? And yes, he knows your name, Jolton Joe. All right. And yet I put him in touch with the WWE guys. And all these guys later on, they were sitting ringside and everything like that.
We were ringside for WrestleMania. Yep.
And me, I'm sitting in the 600 level at the press box getting coffee for Norm. All right, enough. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to Lenny and thank you to Sam Mitchell. And, those were great times. And you know what? Like we talked about during this segment, all these guys want to be wrestlers now. All right, all these guys want to be wrestlers. It's true.
Well, back in the day, and I was one of the first ones to just outright be a wrestling fan. Yeah. A known wrestling fan. Everybody else were closet wrestling fans. They were afraid of what people thought. I never cared about what people thought. If it was entertaining me and if it was fun and if I enjoyed, what they did and a fan of their work and I understood them, I knew their backgrounds, I knew the guys, I knew the ladies that was wrestling. It's like I respected them. That's what people, there was a mutual respect between me and that locker room. All of them are former athletes. All of them, the injuries are the same. A lot of people look at them, that's fake, blah, blah, blah. The injuries are the same. As Zoe Stark, if her injury is not the same as some of the basketball players or football players, okay? So I respect what they do. I respect their athleticism. I respect the show that they put on. I respect the writing and the storytelling that they do. It's entertainment. That's what it is. It's another form of entertainment that people weren't used to at the time. So I would definitely be the one to say I might be the first one that wasn't a closet wrestling fan. I was out there, So, for those who are out there now and that are wide open being wrestling fans, you're welcome. You're welcome because it wasn't always popular to be a wrestling fan.
All right, so as we close this NBA Junk Ball segment, we have a question. Wow, we have a question for the long-range bomber, Tracy Murray. And this is, I think this is from a lady, Patricia. Could be Patrick, could be Patricia. I don't know. All right, and this is a very apropos question here. Hi, Joe, great job. When you have Tracy Murray on the show once again, can you ask him if he had ever a torn Achilles, and why are so many players nowadays getting torn Achilles?
I have a two-part answer to that. I've never had a torn Achilles, and I'm knocking on wood right now because I still work with youngsters, and I don't want a torn Achilles. But the reason why, I think, there's a couple of reasons why. Back in the day, we wore higher supported shoes, high tops or medium tops that supported our Achilles a little bit more. The shoes now are a little bit lower to where your Achilles are exposed. Nick Van Exel brought this up the other day and said, we played in high tops back in the day. That's why there's a lot of Achilles tears. So I think that's part of the problem. Another thing that's part of the problem is these youngsters play a lot of AAU basketball. They tear their bodies up before they get to the NBA. So now when they get there, their bodies are old. Their bodies, like when I got there, my body was probably, when I got in at 20 years old, my body was probably about maybe 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
They get in now at 20, 21, their bodies are like 28, 29. So you add another, you had 82 plus games on that body, and you got people breaking down at age 27, 28. Their bodies are really 35, 36. It's because of all of the wear and tear that they've had over the years trying to get to this point. And I think they're just playing entirely too many games as a youngster trying, to live their dream. And I think it's unnecessary.
As a basketball player, is that the worst injury?
I think so. I think it's the hardest one to recover from. Technology, the way it is nowadays, people are coming back from ACL injuries. You remember when ACL injuries used to be end of a career. Yeah. So now the technology is getting better at the ACLs and stuff. So you're starting to see more and more common torn Achilles. People are coming back from ACLs in like 6 months, and that used to be either a whole year or you're done.
Yeah.
People are down a whole year with the Achilles. So, pretty soon technology is going to get to the point to where they're going to learn how to fix that one a little bit better too. But, it's still a fairly new injury that people are coming up with, even though it's more common nowadays. They have to find a way to, technology-wise, to deal with that injury.
All right, so May 10th, Norm turned 70 years old. And last week of July, Tracy Murray is also turning 70 years old. So, we're gonna try to get you on before your birthday.
70, huh? I'm turning 70.
I don't know. You look 70. I don't know.
Oh,
Norm
so
just
look
said
70. What do you look?
No, I look.
Why you stuttering?
Hold on. Look at the camera right now. First of all,
I want to know why I'm stumping you today. That's why I want.
I'm not. You're not stumping me. Look at the hair.
There's a lot of stuttering going on in your
head. Never been better.
You can't even get up on the screen right now.
You want? Okay, I'll get up on the screen. Hold on. I'm getting up on the table here. Norm already lost his pants. I'm going to take off my pants. I'll get up on the table. All right. Here.
We don't need you taking off your pants.
No, I need OnlyFans for that. All right. So, what? And you tell me I'm not on my game. All right. Come on. First of all, in third week of July, it's your birthday. Would you like me to sing you happy birthday and you sing "Oh Canada" or vice versa?
Well, you're supposed to be Mr. Canada, right? There's plenty of singers in Canada. There's plenty of singers in Canada that you can call and get on this show to sing me happy birthday.
All right. Justin Bieber, hold on. I'm not looking to talk to you.
I said in Canada. I know he's Canadian, but he lives in the United States now.
No, he's here.
And people in your backyard that you can get. There's people.
All right, hold on. I'm calling. All right, hold on. I don't want you, Justin. I want your wife. Hold on. Okay, here. Sean Desmond. Or Sean Mendes. All right, hold on. Sean, I want you. It's Joe. Yeah, long time, no time.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be on camera?
Listen, relax. I got my good friend, long-range bomber, Tracy Murray, who's willing to pay you $2,000. $2,000. Who's willing to pay
the BS is getting thick right now.
Who's willing to pay you $2,000 to come sing in Spanish?
Wait a minute, hold on. It's my birthday. You're supposed to be paying.
No, I'm the president. I don't pay for anything. That's Donald Trump.
Right. That means he's supposed to do you a favor.
Now hold on.
Hold on. No. There's no hold on. Why are you stuttering? Why are you backpedaling?
I am not stuttering. Now listen. This Donald Trump with these tariffs and all that.
Donald Trump. That's not even a discussion here. We're talking about Canadians. We're talking about you and your content.
All right, fine.
If you're the president,
wait. Trudeau is calling me. Hello?
Trudeau ain't calling you, man. Get out of here.
All right, anyways. Happy birthday. If I don't talk to you, happy birthday. And Norm owes you $20 on a cake that I'll throw in your face because you'll look better. All right? By the way, special thank you to Patricia. Say thank you to Patricia. That was a good question.
Shout out to Patricia. It was a great question.
That's right. Or is it me?
And it's a question that that's happening far too many times, man. There's too many Achilles injuries, and hopefully, the shoe technology people will start making the shoes a little bit more higher again. Maybe go back to the mids instead of the lows. Guys need to get taped, even though they don't like being taped. You got to protect yourself while playing.
All right. And another question here from Gus Christy. He wants to know. Yes, he wants to know when you're coming back to Toronto. He wants to take you out for a steak dinner at Morton's.
Hey, Gus, when I come back, man, I'll let you know, bro. I'll let you know. Gus is a longtime Raptor. Been in the organization since he was a young buck. Day one. He's a day oneer. Shout out to Gus. Love you, bro.
And the actual Raptor says you owe him $5.
I owe him $5.
Yeah, and I'm trying to talk to him. He says you owe him. Well, I'll tell you off air, but he says you owe him $5. He says, and it's not the first time. Not the first time that Norm peed on somebody's shoe. That's what he says. All right. So Norm, where are you? You hammerhead. All right. I can't believe you didn't go
so now you're going back to the hammerhead watches during the wrestling roundtable, right? You're going back now. You call him hammerhead because of the watch.
What do you want me to do? You say I stutter. You say I bring all this thing in. What do you want to talk about since we're closing this down? Yeah.
No. You're doing your thing. No. I'm just, you calling him hammerhead. I remember those hammerhead watches. That was, that was a sponsor for his shows back in the day. So I'm just, I just going back in the memory
You
bank.
should remember the Hammerhead shirts that what he did in those establishments.
I remember the Late Night Vampire. Is he still
well,
the Late Night Vampire? You got him up during the day. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's why he can't function.
He doesn't. He has a face for vampire, but late night, no. He's been hitting the P too much. All right. So Trace, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you social media wise.
Real Tracy Murray Facebook. Real Tracy L Murray Facebook. At Real Tracy L Murray Instagram. At Real Tracy Murray on X.
Now, so the Raptors draft pick is not your cousin, not your family, or anything like that.
For the fifth time, he is not my family. So but I wish the youngster the best of luck. As long as he comes in with the right mindset, it's an honor to get drafted. Don't be pissed off where you're going. It's an honor to get there. Go there and make the best out of your situation.
And he got drafted number 9. Do you remember the last time the Raptors
lottery pick complaining? Come on now.
And the last time the Raptors drafted number 9, it was DeMar DeRozan. If he has half of a career like DeMar DeRozan, you know what? I get a ring. That's all I say. You didn't give me a ring either.
I have a question for you. I don't have a ring either for that championship. But let me ask you a question. Who is the next player to go in the Raptors? For the Raptors.
To go in the Raptors. What do you mean? The next best player?
Raptors. Like, who is the next Raptor player to go in the Raptors? Who's the next one?
Yeah, that's simple. That's simple. He retired. He's signing this week with the Raptors to retire as a Raptor. It's number 7. Or was it number 3? It's number 7. Kyle. Never mind. Lowry. All right.
That would be good. He's a champion.
But you should ask me the next one. The next one after.
Who's Kyle the one after that?
The one after that, yes, this is a good question. The one after that is he was a closet wrestling fan, but then he said he met Jolton Joe and he came out of the closet. That's bad, but he did come out of the closet, right? Norm tried to put you back in the closet, but he peed on you anyways. It should go. Kyle Lowry, Tracy Murray, Morris Peterson. Morris Peterson. Hold on.
No. In my opinion, I wasn't there long enough, so throw me out of there.
They were going to put another number 7 in there, some spaghetti eating Bargnani.
No, time out. I on all serious note, I think DeMar deserves to be up there.
I agree with you.
So Lowry before him, DeRozan next.
And you know what?
Everybody else haven't been there long enough.
It's funny that you should say that because I have a sneaky feeling that Masai is gone. Don't be surprised if they bring back DeMar DeRozan. Lowry closes his career as a Raptor. DeMar DeRozan closes his career as a Raptor. That's going to happen. Book it, bank it, whatever. If I'm right, you owe me 5 years of stakes. No? Come on. Nobody wants to see that. Anyways, so last question here, I promise. NBA is over. NCAA is over since you're the color commentator. What do you do for the summertime?
That's when my coaching hat comes on. Coaching and developing our youngsters and prodigy. That's what I do right now. I'm in the gym a lot with my daughters, trying to get them right. My niece and my nephew. And all of their peers, all of their teammates, and people that are in high school, trying to help these kids get college scholarships, because most of these kids grow up and they can't afford to go to college. So just trying to help them get to college so they can achieve their dreams too. Maybe a lot of these kids that go to college, they get to start their life off debt free. So get these scholarships is huge. And now it's not just scholarships anymore. They actually get paid to play. So, there's a lot of urgency amongst kids now, to get out there and try to make something happen. And I think the biggest mistake that's going on right now is that the parents want it more than the kids because they didn't get that opportunity. The kids have to love the game. They have to love the grind in order to achieve these things. And I think it's backwards. I think the parents want it more than the kids. And that's what we're dealing with as coaches, trainers, and developers of young talent. We're trying to develop people that don't love it. These kids got to love the game in order to achieve that high level stuff.
And you mentioned coaching. I have to say this, okay? You were assistant coach with the Lakers last year, Kobe Bryant and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Ever think, if the phone rings, would you go back to assistant coaching, or would it, you don't want to take an assistant job? It has to be a head coach for the Birmingham Barracudas.
At this point, I'm trying to stay close to my daughters. You know, it's a crucial time for them right now. It's their time. Once they are gone to college, you never know what's going to happen. I will be a little bit older, so it will probably be more of an assistant than a head coach. I don't want to deal with that stress as a head coach, being older once I send my girls to college. You know, or, you know, it may not happen anyway. You know, I might just be following them around watching their game. It's not an urgency thing with me to be on the sidelines coaching. There's a lot of stress involved.
All right. So as you know, we're at a golf tournament here. Me and Norm soiled himself, peed on my shoe. Yeah, Trace, you want to say hi to Norm? No, I got Norm here. Norm, you're on the phone here. You're disgusting. You peed on my shoe. All right, Trace is on here. Do you want to say anything to Tracy Murray?
Yeah, other than you can forget everything that Joe just said right now, Trace, but you already know that anyway. So glad to speak to my friend.
Why weren't you on the show? I'm doing a show from a golf tournament that we're hosting here, and you're not on the show. You're peeing on my shoe and everything. Why weren't you on the show? You knew we had a.
I think you need to defend yourself, Norm. I think you need to defend yourself.
Defend yourself.
Well, I'm on the show now.
Yeah, well, now we're over. All right? Thanks for contributing your 10 seconds here. All right? By the way, Norm, since I got you on here, the mic works now and everything. I'm not putting you on camera, but in 3 weeks in July, the last week of July, is Tracy Murray's 70th birthday. He wants me to sing.
I'm still 70 again. Oh, okay, here we go.
So, Norm, happy birthday. Go ahead.
Your birthday's in 3 weeks, Tracy?
July 25th. And then he says I'm going to be 70. He's about 16 years off.
Exercising a long time, but happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Tracy Murray, the long-range bomber. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, Norm, that's how you do it.
That is the worst rendition of Happy Birthday.
Yours is worse.
Could have been worse.
That is the worst rendition of Happy Birthday, especially with
Norm,
a guy
you did a good job, Norm. You did a good job, Norm. Jolton Joe's will be worse.
All right. Since we're closing it out and Norm finally waking up and missing a show here, you're going to be fired. I'll talk to this guy, the president. His name is Joseph. And do you have any? I'll give you. Yes. Joseph, Mr. Joseph. Now,
Joseph.
Norm,
Mr.
do you have any question? I'll give you one question to ask the long-range bomber, Tracy Murray. Go ahead.
All right. So,
we're out of time. Sorry about that, Norm, but we're out. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Trace, Joe may have asked you, but I'd like your opinion as well on the dismissal of Masai Ujiri.
Yeah, I find it surprising because, because he has been the only one to bring a championship there. His job is very difficult to get talent there and keep them there because of, the obvious reasons with the taxes and stuff like that. People that get there, they're in a hurry to leave and they're not paying attention to all of the great things that it is being a Raptor, and I just think that whoever the general manager is, the coaches are, you have to be extremely patient with them. You can't treat them like all the other organizations and get people in and get people out, because people aren't really knocking down the door to try to get there. So you got to be patient with the people that you have and work with them. Don't let them go. That's just my opinion.
All right, Norm, that's your last question. Trace, thanks a lot for this, and hopefully we'll talk to you before your birthday. All the best, and happy U.S. Independence Day. Norm, you want to sing U.S. Independence National Anthem?
You don't have to, Norm. Don't listen to him, Norm.
What, the whole thing?
No, don't listen to him, Norm. Don't listen to him. You're good, bro. You're good. It's Canadian Day. Don't worry about it. It's Canada Day. Don't worry about him right now.
All right. Thanks a lot, Trace.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. 1 second. It doesn't turn off now. I don't know. Okay, Trace, I'll cut it off. I don't know why it doesn't turn on. Everything here is screwed up, so let's see here. Okay, stop. Okay, here.
It has to do with you.